back out or something. And,
what's the best solution for drinking and having the problem in society? What is the best solution? Not just a solution, best solution.
Right. Oh, okay. I mean, I'd say drink is a hard one to completely ban, but I would ban everything else. And
do you think
for drink, I would put much greater controls on what you can actually drink. In terms of
but that is
the Bible,
not the best solution, is
ban
it?
it completely.
But it's not the best solution, is it? To give you an example, if there's a leak in a pipe, there are many solutions to this problem. You can put a pot underneath it and then it just collects this dripping water or whatever it's from. That's one solution. But it's not the best solution. You can put sedative over it. Let me go through the scenarios.
At some level, I agree with you. However, in our culture, it's so ingrained, drinking, that I would keep it in some small form.
Let me just go through this example of the leak in the pipe.
Most people wouldn't agree with me. Most people still want their special brew, unfortunately.
Let's understand the solutions first, right?
It didn't work in that period then. You have the speakeasies then, didn't you?
So when it comes to best solutions, with the example of this pipe leaking, right? Someone can put a sellotape or a duct tape over it. It's not going to last long. It's a solution, but it's not the best solution. But if you are a plumber, for example, and you see the leak, you cut those sections where there's a leak, and you replace it with a new pipe, and you weld it together. That is the best solution. You've eliminated the problem.
Do you also feel that we all need to be taught?
Do you agree?
That we are sinners.
Hang on.
We have a horrendous sinful nature.
My friend,
and that when left to our own devices, things go really wrong. And we do actually need to look to a higher power in order to stop sinning.
And
for us, that's Jesus.
Let me just finish this point.
For you, I'm guessing, for all of you, I'm guessing it's Muhammad.
Let me just finish this point. So we can understand from the example of this leaking pipe, out of many solutions, there is a better solution, which is the best in the examples I've provided out of the three solutions. Likewise, when it's drinking, and a problem with this society because of drinking, most of the violent crimes in UK happens because of people getting drunk. We know that. In A&E, they end up in A&E because of drinking. The solution is not you didn't drink in a limited way, like you're proposing. It doesn't stop people from still going into excess and committing all those crimes. For example, I am. So be patient, because last time when I had a discussion with you, you weren't very reasonable. So I would rather have a discussion with you, because I find so far what you said about the effect in societies and what we see very reasonable. I agree with you. But in terms of the practical steps, I may disagree with you on some points, and this is what I'm sharing with you. When it comes to drinking, now the solution, as I said, is not best when it comes to moderate drinking, because moderate drinking does not solve the problem. We know that.
I agree with moderate drinking. As a personal choice, I think you should not drink. I absolutely think as a personal choice, you should not go.
Right. Now, I agree with you. So even doctors, even nurses from the health industry, they, when it comes to the weekend, knowing that it's bad for them, binge drinking, whatever might be excessive drinking, they get drunk because it gives them pleasure by doing that.
I believe it's 80% of men and 75% of women in the UK who are drinking. So the solution Islam provides is don't drink at all. As you said, that means then to implement. It's pretty similar. We're on don't get intoxicated. We say you can't have very weak wine as a way of getting rid of impurities in water.
The problem with Christianity
the thing is we don't really need to do this anyway, because we actually have water filtration systems that'll do the job. But that is why that measure was put in place. It was because they were using very weak wine as a way of dealing with impurities in water and flavour in water.
Do you agree one thing?
Christianity is completely against all intoxication. So anytime...
What did Jesus do as his first miracle?
He turned water into wine.
It turns water into wine. That's the problem.
But no, it wasn't heavy wine. It was very weak wine.
Still.
And no one got intoxicated.
So Christianity
is wrong in the Bible.
Look, Christianity, from the very foundational aspects, it has this problem. That is why Islam provides a solution to society.
I think Christianity
and you would agree,
is a lot closer to Islam on this issue than you're saying.
But Islam provides the better solution. You would have to agree.
I mean,
the question now is...
So for my church now, I don't have a problem if you are using wine as a way of cleaning bacteria in water.
That's not drinking.
I don't have an issue with that.
Neither do we. It's not an issue about drinking.
However, for our church, we have no wine, we have no drinking at all. We have, so it's grape juice during the
Very happy to see you're following the Islamic principles. That's good.
We're following Christian principles.
Islamic principles, rather, because the Bible doesn't. The Bible doesn't, in black and white prohibits the consumption of alcohol, right? So the question now is then, knowing the better solution, how do we implement this? That is why we need a state in which the laws of God are implemented. You cannot, for example, in UK, do you think it's even imaginable that the government can totally ban the drinking of alcohol?
It would be hard to do it here because of so many thousands of years of
because of people.
I think these guys would probably challenge you on this one.
No.
I believe in my own life I shouldn't drink, and I believe everyone here shouldn't drink because I believe it is a sin. I see people saying, "Oh yeah, free will," and it's like everyone should make their own choice. Freedom. However, I am saying it's a bad choice, and it's
so let's go.
When you go into it, when you start getting addicted to it, it causes massive problems. And
bad choices, some people make good choices. We're free to make our own choice in this country.
People make a choice for you. That's a dictatorship. You've got gambling. You've got everything. Fashion, you name it. You can waste money on anything. You can have problems from anything you buy or do. So if you ban something,
gambling,
heroin, cocaine, marijuana, they're all.
Yeah, I'm sort of more on your guys' side on this one, to be honest.
I just heard the word gambling there. It's a massive problem in society.
But then it's freedom of choice.
What does Islam say about gambling? Do you know?
Yeah, I know you're not allowed to gamble, yes, sir.
Total prohibition. Because Islam says, okay, there's some benefits and there's harm, but the harm outweighs the benefit. That's why Islam prohibits it.
Right.
So coming back, let's return back to the issues of pornography and sexuality and the problem that people are facing. You see, in society today, married men still go after women and have affairs.
Yes.
Why is that?
Society promotes promiscuity.
Yeah, as well as perhaps the biological need, where men, they feel the need to have relationship of more than one woman.
Right.
Or more than one woman.
Yeah.
Just now you can understand why Islam provides and gives a provision in which a man can marry up to 4 wives. Not having mistresses and girlfriends, but within the confines of marriage in which the wives are given the equal treatment, just treatment, as much as they're able to allow. So as you can see how Islam considers the need of the people, because God knows how is made the biological makeup of man and woman. Man and woman. Now you can disagree, but that's
one man and one woman. They should.
That's what you get it from the Bible, right?
And there should be no sex before marriage.
How many wives did Solomon have?
But they were sinners.
Did God condemn or condone that?
Yeah, no, God condemned Solomon's sinning.
Where did God condemn?
In his failure.
No, where did God condemn?
His society fell apart because of he had
where
too many wives.
Where did God condemn
and it all fell
having many wives? Specifically about having more than one wife. Where did God condemn that in the Old Testament?
For Solomon and for David as well. David, he had the affair with Bathsheba.
Being married is not committing adultery.
And then his life fell apart.
You don't even know what marriage is.
And Solomon's life also fell apart as a result
my friend,
of his infidelity.
Where does God command or prohibit rather, that you cannot marry more than one wife?
Well, in the New Testament and also in the Genesis.
We're talking about in the Old Testament times.
In Genesis 2.
Where does it say that?
It says that one man will be married to his wife, and he will cleave to her, and they will have children.
You can be one flesh, as the Bible says in Genesis, when you're marrying also another woman. So there is no prohibition.
There's no promotion of it.
There is no prohibition of it.
There is the image of Adam and Eve, one man and one woman.
You see,
and that is the whole
polygamy.
pattern.
Just to show you, polygamy was practiced across the world.
There's no promotion of polygamy
Islam,
in the story of the Garden.
I want to just show you in terms of where the New Testament created its own problem. In the Old Testament times, in all the cultures and so on, having more than one wife was practically everywhere, practice. Islam didn't introduce polygamy. Islam restricted it to 4. People in the past, they could marry any woman and then they kick them out as they wish. But Islam says, no, you have to be just with them. If you cannot treat them justly, Islam says then marry only one. So as you can see from practical measures, in the relationship between man and woman, Islam provides the solution.
I think Islam believes that because it's kind of desert logic. So you get the idea that, say if these guys go off and they've got wives into the desert and they then die, during their trip across the desert, and there's only a few of them left. All of those women still need to be provisioned for. So they then affix themselves to the other men. I believe that is
there are various reasons people.
Idea.
There are various reasons why polygamy was practiced in societies in the past and in the societies today. There are many Christian societies that practice polygamy today. I'm sure you know that.
Christian society if it promotes that.
The problem
it's
is
a cult if it promotes that.
Just like in your church, it bans alcohol. In other churches, they actually have alcohol during the services. So it is not about a Christian practice. So let's come back.
I don't think.
Let me come back to my point.
Promotion of intoxication. So you can argue having a single glass of wine isn't intoxication.
It's bad for you health-wise. According to the latest studies, look, I work in the medical field, so don't say no, it isn't. Okay, according to the that's what they used to say. That's what you've read in BBC. According to the latest consensus from the medical field, any consumption of wine.
Personally, I don't go.
Can I finish my point?
Experience,
can I finish my point?
Wine leads to a second glass of wine.
But I want to finish my point.
Why I don't think this idea works.
According to the consensus globally among the medical professionals, right? Any consumption of drinking is bad. I can give you, if you want, those references.
I don't have a major issue with this.
Good. Now that's.
I'm not bothered either way, to be honest. So.
Right. So as you realise, my friend, what's your name?
Ewan.
I'm Mansour. As you realise, we are discussing of problems which we both agree as problems.
Yes. Yeah.
But we are coming up with solutions which we think, once we implement it, it will work. Islam comes with solutions that will work, and that has worked. So if you were to do statistics in terms of how many driving problems... I think
Christianity does the same thing. I think it has
a pretty good
take on all of these problems.
The moment it separated religion and state.
I don't believe that was the failure. I believe it was...
to give you another example,
I believe it was basically the fact that we're all sinners and we went along with this liberal society notion. And also, the whole church and state thing. I mean, so there is our government, but I mean, what we're seeing increasingly now is that there's also what's happening in Switzerland, in Davos, and there's all of these trilateral commissions. There's David Rockefeller, Margaret Sanger, and they've been promoting this degenerate society in all of these countries around the world, and they've been doing it for years. And I believe they're doing the same in Islamic countries now. They'll promote degeneracy wherever, and they get in by managing to undermine the government there, and also by working on the people, by also working on people's sinful nature. So you do have to consider that you're a sinner. You do have a sinful nature. You know, you will, when left to your own devices, make terrible decisions. So you have to take ownership for that as well. And I think,
we do not disagree that we have the tendency to do things, go after the taboo items and so on. That is why any kind of practical implementation of your desires needs to be also controlled by the society. And this is where Christianity, I am saying, cannot do it, because it has separated religion and state. Islam rather looks at it holistically as a solution and a problem, right? Problem, and it provides the solution holistically. So that is why, for example, the issues of interest in an economy, the Bible endorses it. The Jewish people, they are allowed to consume in interest, meaning they can give interest to the others but not to themselves, right? So it promotes this, and this is one of the major problems because of this allowance in society today. Not individuals.
I can't go that wide in terms of.
But I want to mention something.
Matters.
Not individuals or groups.
In terms of
nations are enslaved.
I think
because
we agree
of this
with most
interest.
of what's happened with the problems caused by pornography, and I think it is that individual failure needs to be looked at, and I'd agree with most of you guys in terms of certainly banning it. People making these films, say here in the UK, but also I try and stop it abroad wherever they're making it. And I'd say with the internet service providers that there has to be this effort to say, look, we can't just have access to this material. We need to stop having access to all pornographic material on the internet. And I don't believe it's good if we have that access, because
do you think, as a final point,
you will see the worst elements of people.
Do you think, as a final point, so we can end this discussion here, it's been a very interesting discussion. As a final point, do you think a society which is based on secular laws, with the liberalistic mindset, like in UK or in Europe and America, do you think you can make those societies to do what we are wanting to do? Or do you consider, or do you feel a theocratic state, or a state in which people abide by the law of God will provide the solution better?
I think you do need the state that abides by the law of God. My issue with I don't like sometimes with the theocratic state, if you get the hierarchy from government that then comes into the local church. So you're basically getting the dictates from government being passed down.
You can't have a dictatorial government.
Through all of the levels to your local pastor. Instead, what I think you need for the local church is to have the congregation under the pastor, who is their shepherd, and he's the one who provides the moral guidance for his flock. And then they're looking towards Jesus. The entire flock are looking towards Jesus. So I don't think it's good if you then have that, you're bringing the government into that relationship.
But Islam provides a better solution when it implements this on a societal level, with every infrastructure in place, in which it will make sure not only people are educated about it, not only people's own sexuality and own feelings are directed properly, rather than letting them to choose even to have sex with animals, for example. That's what liberalism will do. You can, gratify your sexual needs the way you like. Islam provides a solution in which it will not only mold individuals, it will mold the society by providing that very framework. So I encourage you.
Sort of totalitarian element.
So I encourage you.
You've got the government, and then
I encourage you.
Dictates for the local imams, or do you think the local imam needs to have control over his flock?
I'm encouraging you to read more about the Islamic governance, the Islamic law,
Right.
perhaps you can understand and appreciate.
I'm fairly sure I'll be a Christian for life, mate.
No. You see,
positive on that.
You see, look, the discussion is about knowing where the truth lies, and if we find that Islam,
I'm
having
happy
provided
pretty much agree with all of the
best solution, you should be asking why does Islam provide the best solution among all the other solutions, including Christianity. That is the point I'm making. Theologically, we can have a different discussions in terms of how can one confirm? How can one confirm in terms of who have the correct theology?
A problem of totalitarianism if you've got, say, the government and there's a direct line of influence going down to your local mosque.
Islam has a hierarchical structure.
Yeah.
So it will eventually come down to, it's not going to just a dictator saying, okay, don't do this. There will be mechanism on each level.
Yeah.
Eventually, even the household, the man in the house, either it's a brother or a husband, or the father, they will mold that family from the very beginning.
Yeah, I agree with that, yeah.
And you will see that, okay, from when this is happening from the root level, grassroots level, it will eventually go up around the whole society.
I just think, so I go to Protestant Baptist church, and what's great about it is we have our pastor who has autonomy. So he's not being controlled by some entity, in government. And I like to have that situation where there is local autonomy.
If you consider Islam, you can be part of the governmental structure and you can solve the problem.
Right,
so thank you
anyway,
for having the discussion.
Can
we do this instead?
Okay, cheers, mate.
Right.
Thanks, guys.
It's been a pleasure speaking to you. We both agree there are problems and we should work together in our own ways to bring these problems to its minimum or to rectify them altogether. Yep.
Thank you. Cheers,
Thank you.